Welcome to Two Hearts Dance and Yoga Heart to Heart video series. My name is Leanne Barber, owner and movement creator at Two Hearts Dance and Yoga. We continue to bring you positive vibes as we connect with those who are inspiring us. And what better way to do this than to bring on some of my friends for you. Today, we bring you the lovely GeNienne Samuels, an accomplished entrepreneur, go-getter, and close friend of mine. GeNienne has this energy about her that motivates you to become the best version of yourself, and it reflects in everything that she does, including her businesses. Yes, the woman runs more than one business. GeNienne is the CEO and president of GS Consulting and Communications, Inc., where she does process improvement consulting. And she's the CEO and president of Sideline Prep, a professional cheer and dance prep company, where I have actually worked with her for the past few years, coaching aspiring cheerleaders and dancers who want to go pro. GeNienne's passion for Sideline Prep stems from her career as a professional cheerleader and dancer for the NFL's Washington Redskins Cheerleaders for 8 years, and the NBA's Washington Wizards girls, where we were actually teammates for 3 seasons.
Yes.
That isn't enough for you. She is currently an in-game host for the NFL's Washington Redskins and is a co-host for the Wow Redskins podcast. GeNienne is also a freelance anchor, reporter, and producer for Prince George's County, Maryland's CTV News and the DC office of cable, television, film, music, and entertainment. She manages to do all of these things and has found success in doing what she loves. It is my honor and pleasure to have my friend GeNienne Samuels.
Oh. Thank you so much. What an amazing introduction. I sound kind of impressive. That was nice.
I don't know how you do it all. Such an inspiration.
Sometimes I don't know either, in all honesty. It just works. I make it happen.
Yes, you've got one of those wired brains that just does all the things, and I admire that so much about you. I'm going to take you a little bit down memory lane today. When you first dreamt of becoming a pro cheerleader, what led you to your very first audition for a pro cheer team?
Yeah, so great question. Ironically, and it's crazy given what I currently do for women and men that want to become professional cheerleaders with Sideline Prep, but I ironically never dreamt of being a professional cheerleader. I never had this on a vision board, never had this as one of my goals, never really even thought about or knew about professional cheerleaders, in all honesty. I grew up a tomboy. My father had us in, tons of sports, and I ran track all through middle school and high school, picked up cheerleading, cheered for 2 years in high school, but was really a tomboy. And so the whole pageantry line of, goals or being a professional cheerleader just wasn't something on my radar. I watched a lot of professional football with my father, and I'm sure I saw the cheerleaders maybe going in and out of the commercial breaks, but never really paid any attention. And it wasn't until I graduated from college, I did cheer 4 years in college, and a friend of mine got drafted to the Redskins, and I went to one of his first games. And my mother and I, we were sitting in the nosebleed section because at that time, he was a first year rookie player, didn't have any pull with tickets. So we were all the way in the nosebleed section at FedEx Field, and that's when I saw the First Ladies of Football for the first time. And for whatever reason, even though I love football, I was there to support him, I paid attention to the cheerleaders the entire time. And I literally just could not get my eyes off of them. And because I knew my friend Sean Barber, he got us tickets after the game to come down below and I guess wait outside for the players and all of that. And as I was outside waiting for him to come out of the locker room, the Redskins cheerleaders started coming out of their locker room. And I was just like, oh my God, they're so gorgeous. They're so beautiful. And that's when, at that moment, I decided I wanted to audition for the next season. And so that's when I started preparing and really thinking about auditions for the next year.
That's amazing. To be at a game and see those cheerleaders on the sidelines, it is amazing to hear that that's what inspired you. And you were a Washington Redskins cheerleader for 8 years and a Washington Wizard girl for 3 years, where we were teammates. This is a very familiar world for us, but for some of my students and those who are tuned in who might not know kind of the pro cheer world, can you tell us what it's like to be on the field or on the court performing with a cheer dance team?
It's uh, it's so hard to describe. It's definitely having your sisters, and it reminds me of track and field. So it definitely reminds me of that sports environment where we're all in it together. You have to pull your weight. You have to be on time. You have to know where you're supposed to be in formation. You have to know whether to cheer or whether to stand still because something bad happened. You need to know what it is that you're supposed to be doing and when you're supposed to be doing it. And you've got to bring your A game. So it reminds me very much like track and field, right? So I could have a bad race. Well, that impacts everyone else on the team. Or I could have a really good race and that could motivate and help everyone else on the team. So it definitely reminds me of like sports and athletics and that come together, work together, pull together to make it happen. But to me, it was on a different level because we like the amount of time that we spent together. It was absolutely like mind-boggling with practices, appearances, photo shoots, just charity work, tours, like being able to go on tour overseas. These women become your sisters, like literally become your sisters. And it's like an extended family. And so while there was that competitiveness and us wanting to all perform and work really well together, there was also this sense of I'm letting my sister down, or I have to do this because this is my sister, and us wanting to step it up and level up because of the environment in which we were in. And then the other thing, obviously, that makes it absolutely amazing is that you are part of a professional sporting event, whether it's the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, or even semi-pro teams, other leagues. Like literally you have hundreds of thousands of people looking at you. And so just that environment and the electricity of it all. I just remember the very first time coming out as a first lady of football from the tunnel as a rookie, and even my very first time as a Wizard girl, and just how excited and nervous and everything you are, and how big everything is, and how you realize at that moment that it is something so much bigger than just you. It's something so much bigger than your team. This is about the fans. This is about, just making sure that everyone that is there, and even people watching on TV, are having a good time. They're entertained, and we're a part of all of that and a part of making that happen. So it was just an absolutely amazing 11 years of my life.
A lot of time with the people who are on your team, and it really becomes that like lifelong sisterhood, because there's just no other way, like no one else who understands that part of your life, like your sisters.
Yes.
What are some of the early challenges you had being a pro cheerleader?
So for me, not being a dancer, so I did cheer in my sophomore year, got cut my junior year, cheered my senior year in high school, and then went on to cheer in college. But it was very much the rah-rah stunting, the guys throwing me up in the air. It was a competitive environment, but it was very athletic, but it wasn't a lot of dancing. And when it was dancing, it was like cheer dance. It wasn't like jazz. And like, I didn't even know what a pirouette was. Like, I remember going to my first prep class and being like, a pirouette who? Like, what are you talking about? Like, do what? Spot what? Like, it was all foreign to me. And so the biggest challenge for me was just, I felt like I was out of my element. I felt like I didn't belong. I felt like, I didn't pick up routines very fast. It just took me a long time to get into my groove. And then that was the whole compare-itis, right? Me looking at myself, not feeling as though I was good enough, looking at myself, not feeling as though I compared and really belonged on the team. And it just having to realize that it's not about them, that it's about me. And that I'm doing my best. I've prepared my best. My number was called for a reason. I'm on that team for a reason. I come in every single day giving my best. I work out at home. I practice my dances. I do all of the things that I can do to be my best. And just that realization that comparing myself to other people is not going to help, because even though, yes, I can't turn and pick up choreography as fast as everyone else, my flexibility is amazing. My kicks are amazing. My strong motions from cheer, those are the things that got me on that team, and I'm on that team for a reason. So I think that those were probably the biggest challenges my rookie season, is just that sense of knowing that I belonged there and just settling into that and realizing that I was selected for a reason and being comfortable in that reason.
And now, you're able to help coach girls to get that confidence out on the field, or even just get the confidence to audition, from the jump. What led you to starting Sideline Prep?
Well, one, that there were no resources. When I was at that game at FedEx Field and I decided that I wanted to become a professional cheerleader, there were no resources for me to help me, to guide me, nothing. Like back then, there wasn't Instagram. There just weren't all of these opportunities. Yes, we had the internet and we could look and, go to YouTube and try to find videos and all of that type of stuff, but there was no Sideline Prep to help anybody. And so one of my former teammates, Suan, she and I were talking, and we were like, let's just try it. Let's just see if we start this business, if people will actually want to work with us. Let's just see if there's a demand. And that's how it all started, was just with one idea. We didn't even incorporate. We used a sidelineprep@gmail.com email address. We didn't have a website. We created a flyer and went to a prep class and told people about, Sideline Prep and what it was about. And it was crazy that people started calling and emailing, and they're like, yes, we need your help. And so that's how it all got started, simply because we knew that there was this void in the industry. We are technically going on year number 11. Incorporation, this is year number 10 for us. And so this is a decade of us being able to help other women and now men realize their worth and realize that you don't have to have a dance background. You don't have to be able to do triple turns. You don't have to even know what a pirouette is. You don't have to know how to do leaps. You don't have to be perfect with interview skills. You don't have to be a 10 in all of these areas to accomplish the goals, because if the universe, if God, if whatever higher being it is that you believe in, if they put that desire in your heart, then that means that you have the skill set, the knowledge, the capabilities to get there. The only thing that is holding you back is yourself. So us having this platform to be able to pull that confidence out of people and then give them the tactical steps and the skills, and helping them and coaching them, as you know, because you're one of our coaches, helping them see their worth, see their value, see their potential, see their capabilities. That's what we are here for. But each person individually has it within themselves to accomplish this goal. They just can't allow themselves to get in their own way.
You really embody that. It's actually just a beautiful thing to see, and congratulations on almost 11 years for Sideline Prep. Crazy, yes.
Yay, thank you.
Amazing. You're doing really great things, and your Sideline Prep program and just your everyday interactions with helping people shift their mindset and kind of break past the barriers, whether that's physically or mentally, to achieve their goals. What are some of the mindset shifts you have had to make in achieving your very own goals?
Wow, that is such a good question. So the first thing is, for me personally, is just having faith that I can do it. So like I said earlier, if there's a desire in your heart, if there's a goal that you have, if there's something that you want to do, it's put there for a reason. And so you can't continue to ignore it. And so you just have to believe in your heart of hearts that you are capable of actually making that happen. So that is like a huge mindset shift, just knowing that you are worthy, you are capable, and that you can do it. And I feel like when you can really make that mindset shift, then everything else is going to fall in place, because then you're going to start putting in the daily rituals, the daily habits, and the daily behaviors that will then reinforce that faith that you have in yourself. So there's this amazing book called The Miracle equation. It's right here. I'm like, do I have it over here? The miracle equation by Hal Elrod. And he talks about that a miracle is created when you have unwavering faith in yourself, backed by extraordinary effort. So if you believe you can do it, and then you set up a plan of action to make it happen, then it will indeed happen. So I feel like that is really the biggest mindset shift that I had to, to do for myself, but then I also help with our lovelies. The other thing is just speaking, feeling, and believing things into existence. So whatever you think, whatever you feel, whatever you write down, whatever you say, anything, whatever you do, you are putting that vibration, that energy, that intensity out into the universe. And so if you're putting that out, that's what you're going to receive, right? The law of attraction. So whatever you put out is what you're going to receive. And so when I realized how powerful not just my words were, because they're all quotes about, how, you can have a sharp tongue and all of that. But once I realized that not only were my words powerful, but my thoughts that were behind the words, and then the feelings that were underneath all of that, how important all of that was, I really started to be mindful of my thoughts and my beliefs and my feelings. And so the one thing, I love the law of attraction, but the one thing that it falls short on is that it's not enough to just think it like, okay, I'm a pro cheerleader, I'm a pro cheerleader, I am a doer, I'm an action taker. Like I can say all of that, but then if I don't really believe it in myself, if I don't have faith in myself, and then if I don't put action behind it, then nothing's going to happen. Like I'm not going to just like wake up one day and then I'm a pro cheerleader, right? You have to put actions behind it. So I think like those, if I had to like narrow it down, those are the two biggest mindset shifts. And then really just the third is putting in the action, right? So really making sure that you create an environment for success, that you have people around you that are going to uplift you, support you, and encourage you along the way, that you are preparing yourself, just like you would for a job interview. You are coming up with an action plan and you're preparing and doing all of the things to make yourself a success in that industry or in, for that goal. And then really just making sure that you are within integrity for yourself. Like we tell our friends that we'll do something, and because we told our friends we'll do it, we're going to do it. But we tell ourselves all the time, okay, tomorrow I'm going to get up and I'm going to work out. Tomorrow I'm going to eat better. Tomorrow I'm going to drink more water. Tomorrow. And then we don't honor ourselves and our word to ourselves. And every time we do that to ourselves, we are like going into this hole of I'm not capable. I can't do it. There's no way, you know what I mean? And so you've really got to create that environment. You've got to put forth the action. You've got to become a master of your craft, but then you have to honor your word to yourself. So if this is something that you really want to do, then set up that plan and do it. Like you're in control. Like everything in your current environment right now, you created. It's either your fault or you can be praised for it. And so when you look at yourself and your situations and everything in your life, you cannot blame it on the economy, the president, the weather. You can't blame it on your parents or your upbringing or the school system or whatever. It is you. You attracted it. You created it. It is all on you. So you either need to pat yourself on the back for what you have accomplished, or you need to say, okay, it's time for me to get going.
Absolutely. And I think that, that mindset, the beauty of your Sideline Prep programs are that, girls come into this and, we are there to teach dance technique. We're there to teach you how to, do things on the sidelines. We're there to teach you kind of those things. But what it's really about is creating that confidence within. And that's what I love so much about Sideline Prep, because I've seen girls come into your program who, very shy, really, shoulders forward, kind of really intimidated or scared or just overwhelmed and not sure where to start with Pro Cheer. And then they come out of that just as a new, refreshed person. And I think, as a coach, that's one of the most satisfying and rewarding things to me about Sideline Prep, because you're not just teaching the steps to a dance. It's about teaching this, internal love for yourself, creating self-love and self-worth, and creating, these routines that are going to help uplift you. So I love that you find that so important in your life, and that you have really reflected that in your business as well. On the flip side of things, you also have a business, GS Consulting and Communications, which has been long-standing as well, where you consult businesses and help them succeed. What would you say to someone who's looking to start their own business or their own venture, maybe not in dance, or maybe starting their own kind of side hustle, side business? What would you say to somebody who's looking to do that with their lives?
Do it. So number one, do it. Seriously, just do it. If you have a passion in your heart, it's there for a reason, so don't ignore that. Just go for it. But I am a very risk adverse person. So Sideline Prep has been kind of like my hobby, career, hobby, job, passion, business, whatever you want to call it, for probably 8 of the 10 years. It wasn't until really last year when I was kind of forced into putting it first, because my mother, fell ill and I had to go to Fredericksburg and help her, and I couldn't do consulting with my clients, that I had to put all of my energy into Sideline Prep. But it took me 8 years to get there. And that's because, like I said, I'm risk adverse. So I would recommend making sure that you do your research to make sure whatever idea you have for your business, that there is a market out there, there's a demand, that people will pay for what it is that you want to offer them. That's number one. Number two, I would survey people that are within your target market. So if you want to do X, Y, and Z, and this type of person will purchase X, Y, and Z, interview these people, send out questionnaires, talk to them and find out what are their struggles. What have they tried before that didn't work? What would they be looking for in a program or a product or a service? And just talk to them and just really just be a sponge and listen to what they have to say. Then start to think about, okay, how can I deliver this? What products, what services can I create based off of everything that you heard, based off of what they told you? And then literally start getting clients one at a time, little by little. If you have to, start one-on-one. That's how Sideline Prep started. Everything was one-on-one. And that's how we learned what our lovelies wanted and needed, because we were talking to them and working with them one-on-one. And then eventually you will be able to expand where you're doing group coaching, or you're able to do, one-to-many, and it'll start to open up for you, just depending on the industry. But I would start small. And then once you are making enough money with your side hustle to replace your current monthly income, or at least 75% of it, and 100% of your personal expenses. So you need to be aware of your personal expenses. Once you're able to cover 100% of your personal expenses, then you can go all in, full-fledged into this career of yours. I am not a person that likes to take out loans. I don't care for debt. So there's a whole nother philosophy of, take out loans and use that money and use that capital to then move forward. That's just not me, because again, I am trying to play it safe. So my company, I'm proud to say I've lost no money. I've always profited, and I've always put money and reinvested money back into my business. And so now I'm at the point where it's not just me. I have coaches like you. I have a staff of 15 amazing women, one full-time, young lady, and a social media part-time young lady. Do you know what I mean? And that's because I saved money. I was smart with how I rolled things out. And yeah, the consulting, was like the bread and butter for the longest time. And that enabled me to not have to pull money from Sideline Prep. But now I can, Sideline Prep pays my bills. And then I also flip houses and, do the TV stuff and all of that other stuff that is little money coming here and there. Yes, all the things. And so, but that's just because, I have a lot of passions. I have a lot of things that I want to pursue. But what's amazing is that when you are able to, instead of focus on 10 things, can focus on 2 or 3, it's amazing how those 2 or 3 will truly take off. And that's what I've noticed with Sideline Prep over the last years. I've put so much energy and attention into it that, our program right now is just absolutely amazing. And I've attracted the most amazing young women. And I'm just so excited to work with them every single day. So sorry, that was kind of a long response, but
great advice, for anyone who's looking to start something up and get kind of their goals going, on every level. So thank you so much for sharing that with us. I think it can apply to anything, that someone is looking forward to starting. And you have so many things going on. You have different businesses. You have all of these passions. GeNienne, what is it that keeps you going? What is it that gets you up every day to keep pushing forward?
I would say my family, my 3 nieces, 2 nephews, my amazing godchildren. I have 7 of them. My mother and my dad. Like, on my vision board, I see myself treating my friends and my family to a vacation, to multiple vacations, and being able to just have enough resources to always provide for my family. So that, for sure, my driving force is my family. But then kind of outside of just like the big picture vision of where I see myself, it's also like kind of what kind of keeps me going is just like the lovelies that I work with, and knowing that I am impacting them in a very positive way, and that they are going to be different versions of themselves. Like, that is not like, oh, maybe. That is like, no, you are going to come out a better version of yourself when you finish working with us. That's a promise. And so that gets me pumped and that gets me inspired. And then from a tactical standpoint, my morning routine. So like making sure that I stick to my morning routine, that I'm getting up, I'm working out, I'm journaling, I'm doing my affirmations, like that I am starting my day off for me and doing the things that I need for myself to get myself in a positive mindset. Those are the tactical things that kind of keep me moving every single day.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for all of your advice and just continuing to bring this light of energy that you always bring. Even on a personal level, you inspire me so much, just seeing how much you do and seeing all your success and all of the great advice. I've read books that you've recommended. I've watched videos. I'm like, man, if I can just have a little ounce of GeNienne.
Thank you for saying that. I appreciate it. And you already know that you hold a very special place in my heart. I don't allow just anyone to be a part of, the Sideline Prep family, but then also like, we still are connected on a personal level as well, like being at your wedding and everything else. Just, your warm spirit is, it's just very calming and refreshing. So thank you for being you. And thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
And on behalf of Two Hearts Dance and Yoga, thank you for joining us. We are looking forward to seeing all of the things that you continue to do. And can you tell people how to learn more about Sideline Prep?
Yes, of course. So really, you can find us everywhere, just looking for Sideline Prep. So sidelineprep.com. We're on Instagram, YouTube, obviously. Yes, social just dancing t-shirt. Yay! Instagram, YouTube, all of that good stuff. Facebook. Our Pro Cheer Playbook program opens up twice a year. Leanne is a coach for that program, as well as just a regular general coach for the company as well. And so, yeah, follow us probably on Instagram would probably be the best. And obviously, if anyone needs advice on anything, whether it's pro cheer or just starting your own business or just mindset, feel free to reach out to me as well. You can just, probably the easiest is info, INFO at sidelineprep.com. I'm here for everyone. And then personally, I'm GeNienne with WITHAG on Instagram, and then GeNienne Samuels on Facebook.
Awesome. Well, thank you, GeNienne. It's been a pleasure, and we will be seeing you soon. Keep doing all the wonderful things you're doing. And yeah, thank you so much for being here with us.
All right. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Leanne.